Hey sound guys, I want to let you know about a new feature, a way that I've hooked things up that should help us to have a very consistent level of sound without any distortion in the worship center. And it all has to do with this little knob right here. If we look closely, you notice that it says mono out. This is the overall volume of the sound once it leaves the mixer for our speakers. You can think of it like a volume on our amplifiers. We actually don't have amplifiers because they're built into our PA speakers. But first of all, let me explain how this is going to work. To start out with, I've got a source playing on the computer, and oh, you see right away that it is too hot. We've got the peak lamp is lighting up. Even when we get into the yellows, you know we're in the danger zone. So I'm going to adjust the trim up here on these channels to try to get this thing down into a normal level. If you ever see both of the yellow lights lighting up on a channel, you're in trouble, and you really shouldn't get the first yellow light very often. That looks pretty good for our signal. Now once you've got the individual channels, the gain adjusted, then you want to use your main faders here to try and get your main mix in right around this zero area. So I'm going to bring these faders up. As I do, yeah, I'm running the mix here right around. Oh, it's a little too hot now. You don't want it. You very briefly should it venture above the zero mark. When you start boosting the signal, you're going to introduce noise into it. So there's a pretty good place. So right now I'm running a decent mix. I've got my source is controlled volume. I've got my faders adjusted to a place where I'm running right around zero. Now here's where we adjust the overall volume of the board, and we're going to do that two ways. One is with this mono output knob. You notice as I turn it up, we get sound in the house. But what I want to do is that's going to work in concert with the decibel meter. This has been here for a while, but we haven't really been a stickler. But we're going to be a stickler now. So I'm going to get the decibel meter. Hopefully I'll get a tripod mount for this. I'm going to turn it on. It takes about 10 seconds or a count of 10 to boot up. We want to switch two things on this. It comes on in fast mode and with A weighting. We want to switch both of those. So I'll just push this button once and this button once, and now we've switched it to slow mode and C scale weighting. We want to shoot for a target of 80 decibels with a C weighting back here at the soundboard. It's actually a little bit louder out in the congregation, but I think that 80 decibels back here is a comfortable level for the congregation. So right now I'm just going to put this up here, and then I'm going to begin to turn this knob up, and I'm going to keep an eye on the decibel meter. Now you'll note there's a little bit of a lag on what the meter shows, and I want to shoot for never above 80. And pretty close now. A little more. Okay, that's pretty good. I'm going to mute these channels so I can talk. So you notice I ended up at about 9 o'clock, which is a pretty good reference point, but that's going to change based on the number of people that we have in the room and other factors. If you find yourself struggling here, if you have a hard time getting volume from one particular instrument or singer and you find that to get enough volume you're having to boost the signal up here, then probably what that means is that other things need to be turned down. I hope this is helpful. I'll try to write some of this up and make that available for you guys too. Thanks so much for being a volunteer in this way.